guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about my identity journey. Now, when I say my identity journey, for those of you guys that have been following me on Instagram and all that stuff, I know you're tired. I know, but there's still so much I can talk about this journey to help people. My identity when I had the twins. Yep, she's saying it again. Do you know what? I should probably do a compilation of videos of how many times I've said that in a video. But yeah, I spoke about previously on my other socials about the fact that I lost my identity when I had the twins. And I even spoke about in the intro to this video of I lost it again when we started the business. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that journey specifically and kind of talk about some practical tips and advice that helped me throughout that and helped me to navigate it. And like I always say, hopefully it can help one of you guys too. Let's just get straight into it. So let me give you a bit of background on me. So pre-motherhood, I used to work in the city. I worked in marketing, mainly in event, did a bit of like social and CRM type of stuff. My job allowed me to go to some of the nicest venues in London. We get to test out like tables, we'd get food, all in the name of we might use this space for an event at a later date. So it was fun. Not just that, we worked in a city, so we was around all the nicest places as well. So we used to just go to some of those just for fun. And this was like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I was doing that stuff when a lot of people my age was not doing it. Now, obviously we're all older, so more and more I see people in those places I used to go to. But this was a good 6-7 years ago. I was in those places. I used to travel a lot. I used to love going out, even outside of work, just going out with my friends and all that stuff. So my life was based around that. As well as that, I was really ambitious. I loved my job at the time. This goal of being the best I can be within the industry, I was working towards that. I was at the very early stages of it, don't get me wrong, but that was my goal and I would have done anything to get to it. As well as that, I just finished uni. So I finished uni in 2015, was pregnant with the twins in March 2017. So yeah, so it was all pretty quick. I got first in uni. Yep, I'm smart. I just had all of these goals, and until the point before getting pregnant, all of the goals that I've ever had, nothing major has really stopped me or got in the way of me achieving them. It's maybe small things happened along the way, but nothing that I couldn't deal with, if I'm being really honest with you. That was kind of me pre-twins. I'm not gonna lie, pre-twins, I was judgmental as fuck. Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know why I always do this American accent, but sometimes that just comes out. Yeah, no, I was really judgmental. I can't even lie. I would look at certain people and I would be like, I don't know, like, you're just young, just chatting rubbish, basically. Just, oh, I wouldn't do that. Like, why is she doing things like, yeah, just too judgmental for my knowledge. When I look back, I think I didn't go through anything. So it was easy for me to kind of talk about someone going through something because I haven't been through anything hard myself, and hypothetically, if I was to go through the stuff that I saw, I wouldn't have dealt with it that way. So yeah, that's kind of where my head was at the time. Sometimes when I think back to that woman or that girl, I guess she was, I don't really like her, if I'm being really honest. Obviously, there's parts of her that I loved. I loved her ambition. I loved her fearlessness. She just went for stuff. She did fun stuff that I didn't really have a care in the world, in the sense that there was nothing that was going to stop me from getting what I wanted. And I loved that about the Scylla from back then. But yeah, but there was definitely some stuff that I just think she was quite shallow. I think, say she, like it's not me. I think I was quite shallow back then. Like I said, I was judgmental. I wasn't open-minded. I was open-minded for some things, but there's a lot of things I wasn't open-minded to and all that type of stuff. It was just a completely different way to till I am today. Let's just put it like that. I became pregnant in March 2017 and it spun my world upside down. It was a big surprise. It wasn't our plan to get pregnant at all. But when I knew that I was having twins, I just knew that this was something that I wanted to do. And twins is such a blessing, and I felt so thankful that God gave me that privilege to carry twins and bring twins into this world. So that was always the path I was going to go down once I realised that they were twins. Lost my identity straight away within pregnancy. Now, the reason why I say that is, I don't know if you guys have seen my video about the lessons I've learnt during motherhood, which if you haven't, please go check that out. Suffered with that hyper grave, blah, 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 put the word down there, where I was basically, morning sickness was intense. I got admitted into hospital. I had to take medication. It wasn't nice at all. Straight away, That spontaneous side of me, that don't really care, all of that side, that left me straight away because now I wasn't feeling good. And that meant that I couldn't just do things spontaneously because my body didn't actually allow me to do that sometimes. The sickness thing, that was the biggest player here, but I actually stopped going into the office and I would work from home. That as well, another thing, like I said, I loved my job prior, so to not go into London no more. I used to work in London Bridge, right where the water and all the buildings are, and I used to walk over the bridge every morning. I used to think I felt so lucky that I can't believe my job is here. Like that, the little girl, 5-year-old Priscilla would have been screaming like, "Oh my God, you work in the city, that's crazy." It was just a lot to deal with. At the time, I didn't recognize it as I was losing my identity. Obviously, I was pregnant, so I was just dealing with being pregnant. It wasn't ideal, but whatever. Like, I knew that I guess there's just a season for everything, and that season was made for me to be pregnant. And as hard as it was, once I got out of it, I would get back to normal of going back into the office, go back to working on that goal. It's only now in hindsight I can look back and be like, wow, that journey of losing my identity actually started there. That happened there with work, and then pregnancy was just a lot anyway. We was going through a lot as a couple, being first-time parents and just dealing with other external stuff, and it was a lot. So all of that stuff was chipping away and chipping away and chipping away and adding to me losing my identity. And then when we had the twins, like I said, first year was a lot for me. Didn't take no time out for myself at all. So I've gone from within a year, which sounds like a lot of time, but really isn't. Within a year, I have stopped going on all these holidays. I've stopped going out and doing fun stuff for me. I've stopped spending money on myself. I've stopped working. I've just so much has just stopped. And then on top of that, I've got 2 babies in front of me. And I'm like, what the? And then obviously, so I got 2 babies in front of me. Physically, my body's changed. Mentally, I'm feeling different. I'm not really understanding what's going on. It was just a lot. And all of these things, like I said, now in hindsight, looking back, they was adding to me losing my identity. And I think it got so bad. There was a time where I didn't even know what my favourite food was. I would just eat to kind of survive. I know that sounds crazy and a bit dramatic, but that's literally how I felt. Like, I never really felt like, oh, like, what do I want to eat? Or like, what's my favourite thing that I'm going to... It was just like, okay, eat food to keep alive, drink some water to keep alive, like bath because you need to keep clean, brush your teeth, like that. I was kind of like going through the motions of that. I wasn't really doing anything that makes me happy or made me feel like me. Part of me always just felt like empty or sad, and I didn't know what that sadness was, but I just felt like I'd lost someone, if I'm being honest, as if someone had died. And like I said, that sounds extreme, but honestly, that's how I felt. And especially for going through grief. Now I've been through grief a couple times after having the twins. That's definitely what it felt like. But at the time, I didn't realise what it was. Fast forward, something happened, and it caused me to realise that, oh, sugar, what I'm feeling is I've lost my identity. I probably even saw it on social media, and I think that's probably why making these types of videos is so important to me. Because if I think about it, I probably saw one person talking about it or talking about something similar, and then that helped me to actually, oh my God, that's actually what I'm going through. And then I probably would have just done my own research, and then where I've seen someone else say it, then it's easier for me to then explain it to the people closest to me, and they can help me navigate it as well. So thinking about it, that's actually why I find doing this type of stuff important, and that's why you'll hear me say, like, if you go through all my socials, you'll hear me say 50 million times, I lost my identity. But that's why, because I saw something on social media that shook me. I was like, that's exactly how I'm feeling. So then that happened, and then that's when I started to do the next things that I'm going to talk about, that, and hopefully this stuff will help you guys. So the first things first. So like I said, I must have seen it on social media or something like that, and then the first person I spoke to was my husband. Now, at this point, he'd already noticed the difference in me, and we'd had very brief conversations about it, but I think I was at the stage where I didn't want to admit it. So I was a bit like, what are you talking about? Like, I'd get really defensive, and then maybe even for like a week or whatever after he'd say that I'm not doing something that I used to do, or I'm not acting the way I used to act, I might have pretended to do something spontaneous when really and truly I probably would have planned it just to prove a point or something like that. Like I was still falling back into old habits and doing things in my head that I used to do to kind of feel back to normal, but I wasn't feeling normal at all. The first thing that I did, and the first thing I suggest anybody to do that's going through this, is to talk to your spouse or close friend or family member or someone that you trust, and someone that will listen to you and actually understand. They might not understand what you're going through, but you trust that they'll listen to you. You trust they won't judge you, and you trust that you can say what's on your mind to them. And I think that's really important, and that helped me loads, because once I said it to my husband, and because I was at the space that I was ready to talk about it, then he kind of was like, yeah, well, I also, like, I've noticed it. I didn't really know what it was. Like, and I'm glad that, like, you've kind of managed to work it out. And how can I help you? Now that you know it's this, how can I help you? And we've actively worked together even now, like 4 or 5 years I've been going through this, and he's always been like number one to kind of help me get through this and navigate it and understand it. And he doesn't always understand it, don't get me wrong. He definitely has been a support with that. And I think it's always good to have that if you're going through something like this, just someone to kind of not only talk about it to, but someone to kind of keep you on track with, because you can easily settle. I could have easily realised that I felt that way and realised what's actually going on and what's happening, and been like, okay, whatever, yeah, I'm losing my identity. Yeah, well, I've got kids now anyway, so that's is what it is. This is my life now. I could have just said that and be done with it. But because I voiced it, because he knew about it, and he's the closest person to me, he kind of kept me accountable. Like, you want to get back to yourself. And I said this in the confidence video. It's not about getting back to myself, and I want to change. I need to actually educate myself and change from saying that. It's more about just kind of getting to a stage where I'm happier, where I feel happier. I feel more fulfilled with my life, basically. And yeah, so I think talking to someone that you trust is really important when feeling like you've lost your identity, to kind of take that first step to try to move forward and do something. The person I did talk to around that time was Fleur, who's my life coach. If you have the capability to hire a life coach, I would definitely suggest getting one. I would look into the different options as well. Don't just assume they're so expensive. Don't assume that it's all rich people doing, just that you have them. Like, they are really helpful. And I remember Flo was really good to talk to, because as helpful as my husband was, he doesn't know any of this stuff, so he can only kind of just be supportive of me. Whereas Fleur gave me practical tips and things to actually do to kind of help myself get out of this feeling that I'm feeling. And that was so useful to me, because, like I said, I didn't know anybody that was feeling the way that I was feeling. So although now I was at the stage, I was okay, I'm aware that I've lost my identity, should I say, but how the hell do I kind of get back to normal? Or how do I get to a stage, not get back to, sorry, how the hell do I get to a stage where I'm feeling happy and healthy within myself? These days, social media is amazing, because you can get a lot of tips and advice on how to even deal with this type. Loads of coaches, life coaches on social media giving out advice. Granted, not everybody's giving out useful advice, but you might find someone that you connect with. And even Fleur has a social media page. And Lucia, that's her business partner, and she's another amazing coach as well. They're called We Are Peak on Instagram. I'll put their Instagram there. Check them out as a starting point. If you don't know anywhere to look, they always put in some amazing and encouraging content out there. So that's a good place to start. So yeah, definitely just get some expert help in any way that you can, to try find some practical steps that can help you move forward. And then the next thing that I did that helped me is I took time out for myself leisurely. Because when I say take time out for yourself, you see, I said I'm going to say it in every video, and here it is again in this video. Well, I say take time out for yourself, and I think that can look in different ways. And I think, like I always say, I will do a video specifically just on taking time out for yourself and the different ways you can do so. But the first way that I started to do it was little leisure ways. And I used to, for example, go to a coffee shop on my own. I would literally just go to Costa. I would sit there, I would maybe write, I would maybe watch something, just to have some me time, just actually time where I can just think and just be still for a moment. I'm not having to think, oh, what is the boys eating yet? Or what is Seth going to get home from work? What are we having for dinner? Is the house clean? I can literally just zone out. And to be fair, to do something like that, that's where, once again, go back to that video I put about lessons I've learned as a mum, is ask for help. Like, those times my husband was working in corporate, we didn't have our own business, so I used to ask my mum. My mum literally would watch the boys for me, and then I would go off to a coffee shop and spend a couple hours for myself, and then I'll come back. It doesn't even have to be long, could even just be an hour. But it's just important that you just had that time for yourself, and that really helped me. Even going shopping on my own, things it sounds so silly, but things I hadn't done in about a year and a half at that point when I was doing them. So yeah, just going shopping on my own, just looking around the shops, meeting my friends, like going out again. I remember going out for a friend's birthday. But that's one thing though, where I'd lost my identity. So even the things that I was wearing, which I will talk about, like what you wear, your clothes and stuff, but the things that I was wearing isn't even something that I would have wanted to wear, but it's something that the Scylla pre-twins would have wore. So I wore it and I didn't feel comfortable in it. I didn't look good in it. Well, I probably did look good to the outside world. I don't know. Feel good in it. I didn't feel my best. I felt like I was just forcing it. My body obviously physically changed from having the twins, and I'm still trying to wear exactly the same clothes that I did pre-kids. It just didn't make sense. I just used to like to take some time for myself out on like a leisure level and just do some random things that I stopped doing to kind of feel like a human being again. Like not even just to feel like Scylla, just to feel like a human. Because I feel like when you're a mum, especially that first year, you give everything to your kids, especially the first few months. Like granted, they need you, so you do a lot for them. Easy to lose yourself, so just by doing something small like that, that helps. And a good way to start that, even if you do want to start that with your children, there's a thing called the Mum Club. I live in Croydon, so they have one in Croydon. I'm sure they got them all over. Groups like the Mum Club and stuff really help because they bring mums together to have a brunch, have a coffee, and you can bring your children with you. So it's a good start. It's a nice way to kind of ease yourself into taking time out for yourself, because I know what it's like as a first time mum, especially. You don't want to leave your child. Like your child is now your everything, so you don't want to leave your child and go do something. So that's a nice way to warm yourself into doing something for you. And Claire, who's the lovely lady that runs the one in Croydon, I remember speaking to her, and she said like that one thing she really pushes is for mums to make sure that they have that hot coffee, and like she helps look after the kids. I think they might even have like some babysitters and stuff there that help look after the kids as well. Don't quote me on that, but I think they do stuff like that, just so the mums can literally have a nice coffee, have a nice meal. And like what I love is the focus is on them, because that's what happens. I feel like when like you go through that stage of losing your identity, the focus is not on you anymore, and that's what makes you feel like a shell of yourself. So to have just like a little bit of like something that's just for you, just kind of sparks that, oh God, like I'm a human. I deserve some happiness. I deserve to do something I enjoy. So yeah, definitely check out some like clubs like the Mum Club and all that. I'll put their Instagram here as well, so check them out. Next thing that I did to help with this, refocus myself on what my goals were, what my purpose is, what my passions are, and start working towards them again. My goals were very clear to me before I had the twins. So after I had them, it was just all up in the air. Then I was made redundant when the twins were 8 months. So the option wasn't even there to go back, if I'm really honest, to the business I was at, even though I didn't want to at the stage anyway. So it worked out for me. But if I did, the option was taken away regardless. So I then had to sit down and think, what do I actually want to do? That's when I realised that I want to be in charge of my own time. The best way that I know to do that is to be working for myself. So what I did originally is start off by trying to look for some freelance type of jobs and start making income with the things that I had available to me at the time. Me and my husband was posting on Instagram a lot, so we would make money from doing some ads. Also, like help with any events and stuff, like just any of that stuff that I could do was helping towards my new goals. So yeah, that's what I definitely would suggest, was refocus and really sit down and have a think about what you want to do with yourself. Now you might not be like me. You might be like, yep, I don't know, I was working towards being a chartered accountant and that's still the route I want to go down. Great. What do I need to do to get back onto doing that? Or maybe it might be as simple as, okay, yep, I'm back to work. And when I get back to work, I'm going to start doing this, because obviously now your life has changed. So you might need to make a few adjustments to make sure you can still stay on that track as well as being the best mum that you can be. So yeah, it's just literally just about making sure you know your goal. Okay, another thing that you can do that I also did is meet some like-minded people. Now, social media is amazing for that now, because there are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of mums and women on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere. There's lots of mums and women everywhere. I feel like we're a more social generation, and I feel like it's more. I've definitely got friends on Instagram that I've never met before, and but I talk to them as if they're friends and as if I've known them for a long time. Some of them I haven't even spoke to on the phone. That's crazy. But I feel like we like talk in the DMs or we like comment on each other's stuff, and it's enough to feel like you know the person. So I think meeting some like-minded people really helps. I did that at the time, and it helps me loads to be able to meet some like-minded people that can just kind of help you get back on track. Like, it's just nice to be like, oh my God, it's not just me that feels like that. Places like the Mum Club as well, like I spoke about in the other point, that places like that would be good. Even Fleur and Lucia, the life coaches, they even do retreat. Being able to go to things like that, that's good because you can also meet other women there that want to kind of be their best versions of themselves. Mums that meet, platforms like that, that's why I've built that, so that women can meet other like-minded women like themselves and, you know, be able to talk to people about the journey that you're going through, have someone to kind of help you keep pushing yourself, keep trying to work on yourself and be the best version of you. In the beginning, my husband is that for me and was that for me in the beginning, but I do have other friends that are also my accountability partner, because my husband is that for me because he's the closest person to me, but there's actually other women that I'm friends with that are going through similar stuff as me. So it makes sense for us to go through it, to be each other's accountability partner, because then, you know, we can help each other. And not even just mums as well, by the way. I have an accountability group, two of my closest friends. We actually meet up monthly. Everyone talks about what goals they've got. Our goals are literally nothing to do with each other. Like, they're not even in the same realm. Some of them are kind of linked, but they're not even in the same realm. But it just helps to kind of say it out loud, first of all, because then it's in the universe. And secondly, just kind of like have friends to be like, okay, so what steps are you going to take to get to that? Okay, so how you going to, we even say things, how are you going to break that down into this month? What are some small things you can do to move yourself forward? Another thing that I did, and I still do today, this is still really useful, is just building healthy habits. Like, it's so important to just build healthy habits. I know it's one of those things that I feel like you see all over social medias on like these motivational pages. This can't go wrong. Building healthy habits is just, it's in the name, healthy habits, okay? And I've mentioned it before in the confidence video, but Atomic Habits. Read that book for anybody trying to build healthy habits. Another amazing book, The Miracle Morning. Another book, that book changed my life, reading that, in terms of building healthy habits as well. Just doing, when I say healthy habits, that's things like, for me, exercising daily, meditating, journaling, listening and reading a podcast or a good book. These type of stuff just kind of help replenish you and help make you feel good, give you that refresh that you need every day, so that you can, it helps you if you're feeling good mentally, it helps you to kind of keep on track with doing this stuff. Another thing that I did to help my identity journey was try new things. Now, I used to see this on social media, I used to hear it on podcasts, and I go, what the hell does try new things mean? Please don't be silly. Don't overthink that statement. Just try something new, okay? I hadn't been shopping on my own for about a year and a half at that point when I first had the twins. So just do that. Doing something that you don't usually do is trying something new. It doesn't have to be anything big or major. You just never know. By taking that one small step to do one thing, you never know where that could lead you. I remember when I used to start going shopping on my own, it used to give me time to just think. I used to come back with a clearer mind. I'd come back with like ideas to do certain things. So yeah, just try something new. Try something that you're not used to. Push yourself out your comfort zone a little bit. Who knows, you might actually enjoy it. Now, when it comes to identity, for me, clothes play a big part in that, especially pre-twins. I feel like my clothes played a big part in my identity. And that might not be the same for everyone, but for me, that's definitely plays a role. And like I mentioned earlier, there was a point where I was getting back out and going out with my friends, but I was still wearing clothes that I would wear pre-Scylla, and I didn't really feel comfortable. The thing that I did start to do is just start trying to wear new things. Now, I'm not going to lie, in terms of my identity and my style, that's actually a journey I'm still currently going on. I guess as we age, you'll kind of go through that stage over and over again. One thing that I'm actually going to start doing is go shopping and just go try on some different things that I wouldn't usually wear. And see if that's actually the style that I want to go for. Because I'm so stuck to the stuff that I know. I'm so stuck to the shops that I know. And I feel like my style has changed. My style has definitely changed to more simple. I'm definitely more minimalistic, I think the word is. I used to love like the big prints and the bold colours and like that type of stuff. Whereas now I love like neutral, I love like the pinks, the camels, the browns. That's all you're going to see me wearing in these videos, by the way. That's my uniform. I have made it my mission to not overthink what I'm wearing in the videos, because this is not a fashion video, okay? Even like I'm saying, the colours and stuff that I used to like to wear, the prints, all of that has changed, and my style plays a big part of how I feel about myself. So yeah, like I said, something I'm actually going to actively do is go to some different shops, try on some different stuff, and work out what style I feel suits my new body. My body is not the same as it was before I was a mum. I also don't like the same type of clothes that I used to like back then. I don't even like the same clothes I used to like last year, if I'm being honest, let alone this year. It's just important that we find clothes that make you feel good. Whether that means your boobs are out, whether that means your legs are out, whether that means your belly's out, whatever you think that you need to make yourself feel good, that's the clothes that you need to be wearing, and that just helps building your identity. Like I said, when I wore the dress out with my friends and I didn't feel like myself, I felt even further away from being Scylla. I felt so lost at that point, versus now where I do have some clothes that I feel like, yeah, like this is my style, I feel like me. Get into finding a style that works for you. And lastly, this links just into what I was just saying anyway about your style. Focus on how you look. I think, I don't know, some people might find this shallow, especially the fact that a lot of people watching this are mums and we don't always have time to look good. And I'm not saying you always need to be glammed up or you always need to be wearing makeup. I'm definitely someone that I probably wear makeup like once a week or something if I'm lucky. Like I don't really, makeup is not really my thing unless I'm going out. I think looking good, even just brushing your hair, if you wear a wig, put your wig on, don't just keep the headscarf on all the time. Put some real clothes on, not just wear like your pajamas all day. Like little things like that in the beginning stages of losing my identity helped me loads. Just feeling nice again, just feeling like, oh, okay, like not just looking like a mess, like you're walking past the mirror and you're like, oh God, like my hair's a mess. Oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. Like just making an effort to look good. It just really helps with your mood. Like I remember the early stages, like I said, just like wearing just like leggings and a baggy t-shirt and like just getting like mess on me where I'm looking after the boys and I'll just stay like that all day, can't bother to change, whatever. And you know what? I think like some days, whatever, I do that. Like there's still days now, some days I stay in my pajamas all day and yeah, or I got my headscarf on, I'm not putting a wig on, or if I have my locks, I still keep my headscarf on. And I don't care, and that's okay. You can have those days, but I think it is also important to have the days where you do make an effort, and not just when you're going out. Even if you are just at home, whatever you need to do to make yourself feel that you look good, do that. And I think that just really helps. It just helps boost your confidence, which in turn like helps with your identity. It just all goes hand in hand. Yeah, so that is my identity journey, and that's some of the stuff that I did that helped me and some of the stuff that hopefully can help you. I always like to, and let me know if this is actually even working, because this has kind of been the format of my videos where I talk through my journey, I talk about stuff that I did, and I try to actually pull out the lesson that I learned from it to help you guys and give you guys practical advice. Let me know in the comments if that actually does work for you. I really hope that me talking about my identity journey and the stuff that I went through helps somebody else out there. If there's anyone that's been through it, or even if you just have some tips of advice of how you've kind of maintained your identity, maybe you didn't lose it, but maybe you kept up with maintaining it, what's some of the stuff that you did? Like, let us know in the comments below, because I'll actually be learning too. Because like I said, I lost myself again when we started the business, but in a different way. So it's always good to just kind of learn some new ways. And by the way, I never sit here and think I'm an expert. I'm literally just talking of my own personal experience and the things that I have learned. So I'm more than happy to learn other things from you guys too. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if there's any other tips you can give to anyone that's going through this. I'll also put in the description box different groups or the life coaches and stuff that I mentioned that could help you guys. And I might actually search for some others and just put them in there as well. So you guys can go have a look if it's something that you feel like that can help you. So like, comment and subscribe, guys. Share this video with a fellow friend that you feel like that can benefit from it. And I'll see you all in the next video.